Happy new month of May, everybody. It's a pleasure to have you here again, CSAFOREX, and we are going to be looking at the directional bias on gold, the directional bias on the shiny metal. Where is it heading to now? Now, if you look at from the monthly time frame, yes, from the monthly time frame, for a while now, ever since the 1990s, late 1990s, that is, it has been extremely bullish without a doubt, right? And then, of course, from what we have over here, from this bullish nature over here, we had a top that formed over here. This happened to be the highs for a long time from about 2010. And then we now had another retest after about 10 years, right? And then, of course, this was the retest over here. This is where the action is as of now from the monthly time frame. You look very well. We had a double top here, right? It formed a top here and then another top. But meanwhile, while forming the double top, we had it form in a channel-like pattern over here. As you can see, we had channel-like pattern, and then as it hit the higher trend lines of the pattern, it now gave off a pin bar. It gave off a pin bar, also known as a hammer. So of course, for the pin bar hammer to be valid, it needs to break in that particular direction. This was a bearish pin bar. And if you look, the month of April, the candle actually broke out of the lows of the pin bar, and then the month of May has now confirmed the breakout. So what are we expecting next from the monthly time frame? We're also going to check other time frame as well to have a good enough understanding of what is going on. So we're expecting price to get to this lows of this trend line at about 1706 thereabout, and then test the lows of this box, and then who knows, yes, who knows, might get all the way down to this key flip area. If you can see, it has acted as resistance, support, resistance, support, some support here, and so on. So this area is a very key area to pay attention to. And of course, as we have this here, I don't know what to say. This is looking like about a 6,000 pips drop. And this is directional bias for the year, by the way. That's what we're looking at the monthly time frame. Is it going to get all the way down to this point this year? I'm not really sure, but at least we should test this 1706 area, 1700 area, which should be about 1,000 plus pips. And we already know that gold indeed is a mover. Now let's drop to the weekly time frame and see what's going on. You can see the double top that we talked about earlier. This was it. And then now things are getting a bit clearer from this time frame. Here we had this area of support, resistance, and then we have some little support here. But if you look at what is happening, it seems to be breaking out of this area here. As it's breaking out here, the next thing to do from this weekly time frame perspective is to wait for a pullback to that same area, which is known as a flip zone, that has acted as a support and a resistance, and then look for possible short positions, possible entry to sell around here to take the price back down. And you know, here we have another flip zone. Flip zones are always good. They give us the sense of what is happening in that particular area, especially when price is above the flip or below the flip. Now price is above the flip, so that means that this area should now act as support. And you can see historically it has acted as support in the past. So now if it gets to this 1700 areas, this 17, as we talked about on the monthly time frame as well, if it gets here, this should be a good area to look for a reaction as well. And this is the weekly time frame. Let's drop down another time frame as well. You can see from the monthly time frame, our bias was bearish. Let me just show you that again. From the monthly time frame, our bias was bearish from this Pinocchio bar, from this hammer, bearish hammer. You can see it has already broken to the downside, and then on the weekly, it's breaking out of this flip So we just need a proper break and then a retest and then drop on the daily time frame too. Beautiful. You can see that the time frames that we're looking at now, they're all aligning for a sell position. So that means that you are having your confirmation from different time frames. And of course, this is also how to look at the market analysis from different time frames, multi-time frame analysis, right? Now, I love this time frame and what we were getting from here. If you look over here, we had this left shoulder. I'm sure you must know the head and shoulders pattern. As you can see, we had the left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder that formed with a pin bar. Beautiful. It poked out of this, and you know, not all shoulders are equal. And then we had this pin bar, and from this pin bar on the daily time frame, look at what happened since we just had a straight down move over here. This is more or less a vertical move showing strength from the seller's point of view. And then look over here, we had our trend line that price has broken based on the head and shoulders pattern. This is also interesting. As you can see, the flip zone, you remember we're still talking about the flip zone from the higher time frames, from the weekly and the monthly. As you can see, these flip zones over here, you can see the flip zones over here. Now from what we have over here, you can see the breakout. We just need it to break out properly so it's not a fake out, right? You need to avoid fake out and wait for it to break out properly. So what I'm looking out for is a little more to the downside, a retest here, and then drop back again to that 1700 area. And this is over 1,000 pips. And trust me, gold definitely can do 1,000 pips within a week or 2 weeks. Gold indeed is a mover. So you can see we have another confirmation that we should be looking for sell positions on this precious metal. Moving down to the 4 hours time frame. On the 4 hours time frame, we had a lot of consolidation here in this boxed out area. But one thing that hit me, one thing that caught my attention is that after a while, we started to have some lower highs, which is signaling the weakness, right, with respect to the buyers. And of course, from what we have here, I wouldn't mind a pullback back to this area and then give us another lower high over here, and then we look for sell positions to drop again, right? So always look for how you can get discounted price. And over here that we just marked out, this could be the area to pay attention to. If you look closely, we have something around here, right? And of course, you would need to train your eyes because everything that we use is basically support and resistance based on price action, that is. So you can see here we have some form of resistance, support, here, support. Even though here it broke out, now it has dropped back down. So we should be looking forward to this area to now act as resistance, and then we get our sell positions. I hope you're understanding what we're talking about. You might need to watch this video a couple of times to understand better. Everything is price action. Everything is on the chart. The chart more or less is speaking a language. Once you understand the language, using price action, support and resistance, trust me, these are the only things that you need. You don't need anything fancy. You don't need anything too complicated. Keep your trading as simple as possible. Keep it simply simple, stupid, or something like that. Right? So now looking at what we have here, this is the 4 hours time frame, and then let's drop down to the hourly. We're going to stop at the hourly, right, so that we don't move into the territory of scalpers. Excuse me. We're going to stop over here on the hourly, which is still on the intraday point of view, so that we don't move into the scalpers region. So if you look at what we have here, this is clearly what? Clearly a downtrend. You can see it's very clear on this time frame now. But what are we looking at here? We have this area here of support. So we should be expecting a discounted price for price to pull back here, and then we get our entry, or price to pull back here, and then we get our entry. But one thing I would really like, as a matter of fact, is to add my fibs, because at times I try to find out where would the fib traders be looking forward to placing trades? For the fib traders, it would either be 38.2. Well, 23.6 is part of it, but 23.6 obviously is not as strong when it gets to 38.2, 50, or even the 61.8. But then anything from 38.2 and 50 is a good start. 61.8 is considered as an extension play, which will give you better reward because of the smaller risk. So let's click on the Fibonacci, and we're going to draw it from the top to the bottom of the chart because it is dropping. So if you look at what we have here, and you can see this area here, it's not a good enough area. It's not as significant as this area here, as you can see, which is just about above the 38.2. So this is still very decent for a pullback, right? I'm not saying it's going to get there. It might get there, it might not get there, I don't know. But this is what I'm looking out for based on this hourly time frame. You can see we started from the monthly to the weekly to the dailies, 4 hours, and then to the hourly, right? I wouldn't want to go over to the 5 minutes time frame because it is strictly for scalpers, and of course it happens fast. This video, you can watch it a couple of times and then price might not have done what we are talking about, and then you can still take advantage. But if I drop about to the 5 minutes, you need to be very fast in watching the video as it drops. So as you need to be watching the video very fast, I would also advise you that if you are new to this section, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so that once the video drops, always watch it as soon as possible and try to take advantage of this market analysis. Today we have been talking about the gold, shiny metal, the precious metal. We'll be looking at the directional bias from the higher time frame down to the hourly, intraday, to see how we can get a discounted price and of course for good enough profit. So from what we've talked about here, we're going to see how the rest of the week plays out, and if you have any question, feel free to comment in the section below, and of course don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel. It helps the algorithm, it helps others to see the video as well. You want to learn how to trade the market, whether it's the forex market or the gold market, the metals, or whether it's the crypto market. Trust me, price action, support and resistance works for all markets. I have a free 3 days training I conduct every week, and also a free webinar on Sundays where I talk about past trades and of course also talk about the future trades to look out for, right? It's absolutely free. All you have to do is to connect and then learn at no cost whatsoever. The only thing you'll be paying is your attention when you come on board. Okay, great. So guys, thank you very much. It's been a good one today. I'm going to call it a day here. I'm going to stop this video. If you have any questions, comment below. You want us to take a look at any instrument of choice, kindly connect. Right? Thank you guys. Goodbye. Enjoy the rest of the day and trade safely.